isn't just passing that exam and getting the license, but how do you jumpstart your real estate career? How do you turn where your life is now into something where you're able to, build a successful real estate career? And this could be something that you're just doing part-time. This could be something that eventually you want to do full-time. Or maybe, you're ready to roll right into this right away full-time, and you want to make sure you could hit the ground running. If you've got the resources to start up and you could do this full-time and jump in the deep end, essentially, that could allow you to achieve success much faster. But at the same time, if you're just wanting to do this part-time on the side in addition to what it is that you're doing, that's how I started in real estate. That's where I started my real estate career, is in that same position where I'm not sure if real estate's for me. Let me get my license, let me try it out, and maybe if I like it, I'll quit my job. Here I am today. I eventually did quit that job. And the funny part is they said, oh, you'll be back. Real estate, you're going to do real estate? Yeah, you'll be back. Still not back. You know who you are if you're tuning in here. But anyways, let's get back into today's topic, jumpstarting your real estate career, a guide to expedite your success. That's really the key thing it is that I want to focus on today, is how do we expedite? That is interesting. How do we expedite your success? So who is Tampa School of Real Estate, and why are we qualified to help expedite you in this process? So I'm not just some guy on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. I mean, yeah, I kind of am. But at the same time, there's an organization that is much bigger than myself, and that is the Tampa School of Real Estate. And we're Florida's leader in real estate education. We've been around it since 2007. We've got thousands of 5-star reviews. We've helped over 25,000 students. That number's probably even a lot more than that now. I think we've got to update it to include, this year alone, we've had 10,000 students that we've helped here at the Tampa School of Real Estate, which is really mind-blowing compared to where we began with a office that was, maybe like not even 2 windows. We didn't have a window. It was a back room in a brokerage office, no windows. It could maybe fit like 8 people in there, and our first class had like 2 or 3 students in it. This is one of our class photos here of I don't know, maybe 30, 40 people we had in a class at one time, and this is something we do on a regular basis. So this is not anything that's new to us. This is not anything that we're just testing or trialing out. This is not a beta program. This is the best of the best, and that's what we pride ourselves in being. But the question is, how did we get here, and why did we even begin in the first place? Why did Tampa School of Real Estate, why was there a need for Tampa School of Real Estate, and how did we get to the point of where we are today, helping tens of thousands of students along their real estate journeys? What is the story behind the success of Tampa School of Real Estate? And it comes down to really one thing. We're not here just to sell you a course. We're not here just to help you pass an exam. We're not here just to help you get your real estate license. We're here to help you change your life. Because that's what a real estate license opens the door to do. To completely rewrite your future. If you feel like you're burnt out, that you're not getting out of life what it is that you want to, that out of your career, there's maybe whatever greater aspirations it is that you have and you feel like you're held back, I was in your shoes before I got my real estate license, and I know absolutely how that feels. And that's a big reason why we try to do everything it is that we can to go above and beyond to help guide you through this process, to help you build your real estate empire, not just sell you a class, not just help you pass the exam, but actually make a career, a business. Make this your livelihood. Whether that's something you're just doing part-time, we have a lot of people that even stick with it part-time, whether, maybe you're a firefighter, a police officer, sheriff, a first responder, some maybe medical type of thing, whatever it is. We've had people from all walks of life, all education levels, from people who just have the bare minimum required, which is a high school diploma, all the way up to people who have doctoral degree, doctorates, whatever you call them, where they've gone through like 10 years of school, and master's degrees and bachelor's degrees, all the way down to just people who only have a high school diploma, because that's all that's required to get a real estate license. And you could be from somebody who is just out of high school, this is your first thing. That's actually probably the lowest percentage of our students. Although we do have quite a few people that's what they're now looking to do, is they want to, do real estate, and they're coming right out of high school. Instead of going to school for 4 years and spending tens of thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in schooling, they're spending a few $100s to get a profession where they can make millions of dollars a year. And maybe not in your first year, but you do this for 10, 20, 30 years, who knows where you'll be from now. And there's opportunities not just for brokering deals, but for investing. Literally, you're the boots on the ground where you're actually in the field, and you are going to be the one who finds the best real estate deals as a real estate professional because you're working in your space. So it's easy to understand all the places it is that you could go. But the real question is, how do you get there? And that's how we got to where we are at Tampa School of Real Estate, is helping you along your journey to unlocking your dreams, to building your real estate empire, however big and however grand that may be. We're here to help you every step of the way. And also, we are live right now. So if you guys have questions on any of this, drop it in the chat. We've got a new chat feature on our website for those of you tuning in off clicking in on the email. Of course, we're live on Facebook as well. Welcome in, everybody. Mike, Shayna, Alexandrina. Welcome back, Frank. And if you have any questions about, starting a real estate career, what this process looks like, anything more specifically that I can assist you with, let me know in the chat. That's what we're here for. Or if you want to speak to one of our advisors directly, just call us at 813-333-2676. But now, what is it specifically that makes Tampa School of Real Estate different? Again, our key thing is we're here to be more than just a required class. Yes, that starts with being able to pass your exam, and that's why we've developed some of the best study tools that exist. But it's not just about passing your exam. You need to be able to jumpstart your career. That's why you're doing this, not just to get a license. What good is that of just having a license? Yeah, that's great that you get a real estate license, but then what? What's next after you have that real estate license? Well, you probably had some plans, some reason why you're getting the license. You didn't want the license just because the license looks neat or it looks cool. You got it for some bigger, grander purpose. And in order to achieve that bigger, grander purpose, you need to be able to jumpstart your real estate career. But it doesn't end there, because you probably have a big 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, whatever, however far out it may be, plan for your empire, your legacy, your life. And you imagine where that could be even just 5 years from now with the right opportunities in front of you. We've had students, this is not necessarily guaranteed, but we've had students that have got the real estate license and gone on to make over 6 figures in their first year. At the same time, maybe you just want to do this part-time and just do it on the side, and maybe you'd be happy if you get one deal, because maybe an extra $5,000 or $10,000. How many more Christmas gifts could you buy? How much more money would you have to spend on whatever holiday it is that you're celebrating? I know Hanukkah's already gone by. I think Kwanzaa's still coming up. New Year's, maybe you're spending money to go take some trip or do something like that, or see some sort of show, or whatever there is to live in life. If you haven't noticed, most things out there cost money. And when money is no longer something that you have to worry about obtaining, but just comes to you naturally, well, life can be a lot more enjoyable. You could focus on a lot more of the good things rather than being focused on the almighty dollar. Because when you're constantly having to trade your time for money, well, that doesn't ever leave you an opportunity, unless maybe you're saving a bunch of money, but with inflation and all this other stuff, who knows whether or not your savings will be enough to give you some grand retirement. There's a lot of people that have came to us in that specific situation where, they thought they would have enough money for retirement and they don't. So they still need to work, but they want to be able to do something that doesn't necessarily trade their time for money. And that's something that real estate does allow for. But again, it all goes back to being able to pass your exam. So we're here for you every step of the way, however it is that we can help you and assist you to grow your real estate business and build your real estate empire. So again, we're all talking today about expediting your success, about how much faster can we help you go through this process. Because I like to say it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. when you pass your exam, when you succeed, when you get your first deal, when you make your first $1 million, when you make your first $100,000, when you close your first deal, when you get your first client, when you make your first phone call. It's not a question of if you'll do those things, it's a question of when you do those things. And your success lies beyond those activities. So the faster you can complete these activities, the faster you could achieve success. But how are you going to complete these activities if you don't know how to complete these activities? If you don't know how to build a real estate business? Now you might be saying, well, John, isn't that something that I'm learning in my pre-licensing course? Not really. The Florida Real Estate Commission required pre-licensing course to get your real estate license, the course you start out with taking, is mainly focused on laws and rules and the basics of how real estate is practiced, but it's not really a business building course. It's more of a compliance course in that sense, and more geared around what you need to know to pass the exam as well as operate your real estate business legally. So the biggest mistake I see new real estate agents make, myself included, because when I started in real estate, this was probably the biggest mistake that held me back the most, is I did not complete my Florida Real Estate Commission required post-licensing until right before my deadline. Now, what is the deadline? It's at a minimum 18 months out from when you get your real estate license, maybe as long as 2 years, depending on when you get it. It's kind of a funky deadline, but it's basically between 18 months and 24 months that your license is going to be up for renewal. Now, renewal fee with the state of Florida, it's only like $50, $60, something like that, super low cost. Your post-licensing course isn't even a big cost. It's actually going to be less expensive than the pre-licensing because it is a shorter course. Whatever method you take it, it will be less expensive than a pre-licensing course because it's a shorter course. But that course has so much more valuable information in it when it comes to building your real estate business and knowing how to plan for success and knowing how to properly understand how to build a business out of your real estate license rather than just having a real estate license. And this is such a fundamental piece of the puzzle that so many agents, myself included, delay and put off because they get traumatized almost by the exam and being able to pass and all the studying they have to do. And post-licensing, there's no state exam. There isn't a course exam, but it's much more straightforward, and the content is all about building your business, so it's much more engaging, stuff that you're probably going to be more interested in learning about. Now, if you really like laws and rules, you'll really love the pre-licensing course. But if you're more interested in learning about how to build a successful real estate business, that is what this post-licensing course covers. And that's really the piece of the puzzle that turns just our pre-licensing course and just our exam prep tools into what we call our complete Jumpstart bundle. And so the complete Jumpstart program is designed to basically give you all of your FREC requirements you need for getting your license as well as completing your first renewal, the information you need not just to pass the exam, but all of our study tools to help you pass that exam on your first try, as well as the post-licensing course, which is going to, again, dive deeper into the actual business side of your real estate license and how to use that to actually make money, including building out your business plan. So if we look at this timeline to basically jumpstart your real estate career, and I know that step 5 there is covered, but I'll pull that back up in just a second here. But again, key thing we're trying to do is jumpstart. We're trying to expedite. We're trying to make this happen as quickly as possible. And this is the timeline you ultimately want to file. So step 1 is your pre-licensing course. And this is all included in your pre-licensing bundle, all this complete Jumpstart bundle, all of the courses and exam prep tools here. The only thing that would be separate would be your fingerprints and application. We'll talk about that in a moment here. But your pre-licensing course, this is again required by the Florida Real Estate Commission. So if you want to get a real estate license in Florida, unless you're an attorney in good standing with the Florida Bar, or unless you have a degree specifically in real estate, this is the course you need to take. And there's online, instructor-led online, self-paced online, as well as in-person classroom courses that we offer to get this first step knocked out. Now, you could also, if you're worried about getting your background check approved, if you have any sort of criminal background in the past, you probably can still get a real estate license. We actually have an article on our website with more information, as well as a link to a Florida Real Estate Commission attorney that specializes in working with the Florida Real Estate Commission should it get to that level. But most of the time, you probably can get a real estate license. Now, if you don't have any criminal background, you shouldn't have to worry. But if you do have some sort of criminal background and you're worried about being able to get your real estate license, you could actually complete this portion of the process before you do pre-licensing if you don't want to necessarily commit to pre-licensing before you find out whether or not you'll get a license. But for anyone who doesn't have a criminal background, there shouldn't be any reason why you wouldn't get approved for a real estate license, unless maybe you had a real estate license that got taken away in another state. That might be something they don't look too highly upon. But otherwise, you should be able to get approved. So this is usually a fairly routine process. Fairly routine, but it does take time. So that might be another reason why you might want to do this after you're enrolled, before you even start the class. But if you're taking the class, if it's an actual classroom course, we actually bring in a mobile fingerprinting vendor. They're an outside vendor. They're not necessarily fingerprints done by this, which is why this would be a separate cost for the fingerprints. Usually it's about like $80 or so. And there's other places it is that you can go wherever it is that you're located. If you're out of the state, I don't know if anyone tuning in here is out of the state, but just in case, you do have to do a hard card fingerprint and turn that into an electronic fingerprinting vendor here in Florida. If you have any questions about the application of the fingerprinting more specifically, give us a call, 813-333-2676. But this is actually the application that you're doing with the state of Florida for your Florida real estate license. And we cover this information in the course. So like I said, actually, and if you're, again, in person with us, we bring the fingerprinting vendor right on site, so you don't even have to worry about making an appointment somewhere. But if you're doing an online course, we've got links to book appointments wherever it may be. If you're out of state, again, you can do those mail-away hard card kits for it. But we go over this information in the course because, believe it or not, this is actually something that gets tested on the real estate exam. So it's actually right in Unit 2 where we talk about the application and fingerprints. So that is something, again, fairly routine. Now, if you do have a serious criminal background, that's maybe where you want to do that beforehand. But if you have any questions specifically about this, call us. It's confidential, 813-333-2676. We have advisors standing by, and all of these advisors that we have here at Tampa School of Real Estate at least have a sales associate license, if not an instructor license, if not a broker license. So we've got a really great team here, very helpful, very knowledgeable. Take advantage of that. Again, the phone number is 813-333-2676. But let's say you complete this course, you get your fingerprinting and your application approved. So what's next? Well, you've got to pass your exams. And that's why this bundle is going to include the best study tools that exist for passing your Florida real estate exams, which is passfirsttry.com. Now, the Florida Real Estate Commission does not allow us to guarantee that you'll pass the real estate exam. There's a specific rule that says we are not allowed to guarantee you'll pass. So this is not a guarantee that you'll pass your exam. It's illegal for us to do that. We cannot guarantee. But what this is our recommended strategy to help you pass your class and state exams on the first try. It's got a great bundle of study tools right in here, so that way you don't have to spend time reinventing the wheel, creating your own study tools. I know I see people all the time where they're making flashcards or they're just writing down notes and rewriting things and whatnot. And the problem with doing the studying, making your own studying tools, that type of thing, is it's sometimes hard to decipher what's really most important for the exam. What is the stuff that are most highly tested upon, or how it might be asked. Or if you don't even really understand the topic, you trying to help yourself understand the topic can kind of seem counterintuitive, which is why we don't recommend doing this alone. Now, all that's required to get your license is just the pre-licensing course. You pass that, you'll get a completion certificate that you could use to take the state exam. You pass that, you'll get a real estate license. But if you want to, again, expedite, that's what we're talking about today, trying to make this happen as quickly as possible here. That's where these study tools are really going to help you move through that process much faster than you could alone on your own. And now, once you get your real estate license, the first thing you want to do as soon as you're licensed, not right before your deadline like I did, because if you wait to right before your deadline, you're postponing essential information to growing your real estate business. Literally, when I took my post-licensing course, I didn't actually kick myself, but I felt like kicking myself. Because I was like, why didn't I take this information sooner? This would have been so helpful. This would have been so beneficial. I could have really had much better momentum, much more immediate success. And rather than a lot of the stuff in there had seemed remedial. And the funny part is, I don't know if it's necessarily funny, but the thing that, the sad part, whatever you want to call it, is I paid over $1,000 for some sales trainer boot camp thing that this sales trainer helped me learn how to sell real estate. And it was great. But when I took post-licensing, I realized a lot of the information that I paid all this money for was the same stuff I was learning in post-licensing. And I was like, either I didn't take away any higher level information, I was just, grasping the basics, like, wow, this is so great. Or maybe that was all it was. And had I just taken this post-licensing course, I would have achieved success a lot faster. So that's why this is included in our complete Jumpstart bundle. This is already prepaid, your post licensing. You just have to get your license before you start and enroll in that course. So we don't actually physically enroll you into that post licensing until you have your real estate license. But then once you have your real estate license, you want to get that done as soon as possible. Because as soon as you get that post licensing course completed, not only you're done with your first renewal requirement, but you're in a much better position to better understand the real estate business. Now, this last step right down here about activating with a real estate broker. So as soon as you do your application with the state of Florida, that information, well, not all the information, but the information like your name and contact info is in the public records that you're requesting a real estate license. And once you're approved, it'll be in there that you're approved for a real estate license. And once you pass your exam, it'll be on the DBPR's website what your real estate license is. So as soon as you start that process with the application, people will be able to search your name on the DBPR and it'll show that they're getting a real estate license. Now, most people don't know how to do this, but there are brokers who do know how to do this. They actually can request a weekly report from the DBPR of everyone that is eligible for an exam or everyone that just recently got their real estate license. And so what happens is you do your application and you're going to end up getting recruited pretty hard by all kinds of different brokers. And so you'll have a lot of different options, which is very different than what most people are used to. Most people are used to having to chase after a job, not necessarily the job chasing after them. And that's really what this is right here. And it's because you're an independent contractor. This is more of you building a business rather than it is a job where you're getting paid some sort of hourly or something like that. Yes, there are assistant and salary type of positions out there, but if you're being a realtor in the traditional sense, you're usually an independent contractor where when you make money is when you actually sell real estate. And so there's a lot of brokers out there that have all kinds of different things to offer that'll be trying to recruit you. But then the question is, well, which one do I pick? Do I pick what's closest? Do I pick the name I recognize? Do I pick my friend's brokerage? That was probably the number one thing I chose when I was chose my first brokerage. Is I've relied heavily on the idea that, okay, well, this person's very close to me. This is their brokerage, so I just want to join there. When in reality, it wasn't a great fit for me as a new agent, and it did ultimately hold back my success. But as I told you, I didn't do my post-licensing right away. So I did not have a business plan of what I was going to do. And so what happened, I was focused on all the wrong things because I didn't know what to do, and it delayed my success. And again, today what we're talking about is trying to expedite that success as quickly as we can. And ultimately, I did end up leaving that brokerage. I ended up joining another brokerage, and then I joined another brokerage. Eventually, I had started my own brokerage, and now I hold multiple brokerage licenses today. But at one point in time, I was just a sales associate. I was in the same position you were if you don't have a real estate license yet. Maybe you're at your job right now on your lunch break watching this, and you're thinking, man, I really hate my job. I really want to be able to stick it to the people here that'll probably tell me, oh, you'll be back. Still not back. And it feels good to be able to have more control and have more things that I'm able to accomplish. And I would never have had these doors open for me had I not gotten my real estate license. Now, had I not done my post-licensing, had I just let my real estate license lapse, I would have never gotten all of this essential info. And I know maybe some of you are maybe tuning in, you already have your real estate license. Maybe you're like me where you didn't do your post-licensing course right away, and maybe you've been able to, the market's hot right now. When I started in real estate, the market was not this hot. It wasn't really hot at all when I started in real estate. So maybe you've already been able to achieve some success, but you're struggling to figure out how to turn this into a repeatable business model. And that's what the post-licensing is designed to do. So you don't have to rely on luck or just the right place at the right time to be able to get business, but you have a business plan that you could execute on a regular basis to grow your real estate business. Now, how do you get this done? What options are available? So we have 3 different course options, and all of these are available with our complete Jumpstart bundle, where you'll get your pre-licensing, your exam prep tools, as well as the post-licensing. And we have these all available in these different methods. Now, probably our most popular method right now is the instructor-led live stream. Now, why is that the most popular method? Well, for a few reasons. Now, all of these courses are going to be Florida Real Estate Commission approved. So we're a fully approved school by the Florida Real Estate Commission. All of our courses, all of our instructors, all Florida Real Estate Commission approved. So all of our stuff does count for credit. It will give you the credit necessary, whatever method you go through, whether you do the self-guided, self-paced, whether you do an instructor-led live stream or an in-person instructor-led classroom course. All of these can get you the credit to get your real estate license. Now, the reason why I say, again, that live stream is going to be the most popular, it's really this aspect right here that you could complete from anywhere, which you could also do with our self-guided online course. But our self-guided online course, again, self-guided. So it's not instructor-led. It's not necessarily an instructor guiding you through this information. It's yourself going through this information at your own pace, which there's a lot of students that actually prefer that method, especially if you want to really get into a lot of the details, if you really want to absorb this information, if you really want to move through it as quickly as possible, or you want to do this on your time and your schedule and not have to be at a certain place at a certain time. That's where that self-guided online course is really a great benefit. But if you're more of the person who needs a set schedule, who needs somebody to help guide them through this process, that's why I would look into these two options right here. Now, again, the big benefit of that live stream is you could do that from anywhere. Now, if you're taking our classroom course, you're still going to get this digital online platform. So there's a digital online platform for any one of these courses. The online courses, of course, they're going to be hosted in this digital online platform. But even if you're taking our in-person class, there's digital online study tools that are included right with your course. It's not necessarily as comprehensive as everything in the Pass First Try Exam Prep bundle and all those exam prep tools, but all the things that are going to be the resources that are part of the class, like the PowerPoints, different practice exams, things like that, that's all included in that digital platform. And if you don't necessarily do the complete Jumpstart bundle, if you're just registered for the course alone, you actually get extended demos in that digital materials course, even if, again, you don't necessarily have this whole bundle. We also have a Pass First Try bundle that doesn't include with post-licensing. But again, if you plan on being in real estate for more than 2 years, you're going to need this course. This is going to help you expedite everything, and this is what's required just to get the license in the first place. And again, this complete Jumpstart is designed to be our full suite of tools, courses, and everything it is that you need to jumpstart your real estate business. Now, like I said, if you prefer an instructor to actually guide and lead you through the information, that's why I'd look to either the classroom or the live stream courses. Now, if you're not necessarily in the Tampa Bay area, we have quite a few locations throughout the Tampa Bay area, but if you're somewhere else in Florida, or maybe you're even in a different state or another country even, you could take our online options, whether that's the live stream or the self-guided online course, and even the state exam now, you could even take your state exam online. So you don't even necessarily have to do the state exam in person anymore. That used to be the case, but after 2020, after COVID, they actually added an online testing option. They do actually watch you through the webcam if you're doing the online state exam, but it's a great opportunity to be able to take that online state exam wherever it is that you have an internet connection. So I want to check in on the chat here to see what questions it is that we have here. So Frank's got a question. Do we include the end of course completion certificate in the app with the DBPR? So you do need to get the, this is a great question, Frank. It depends how you're taking your exam. So ultimately, the DBPR needs a course completion certificate from you. Now, as a school, we cannot report that directly because you don't yet have a license number. We can only report courses once you have a license number for us to report that you completed these courses for that license. Until then, all you're able to get is a completion certificate. And that completion certificate, if you're taking the state exam in person, at the state testing center, the vendor is called Pearson VUE. They would take your exam completion certificate, and when you pass your exam, they keep that on file, so that makes its way to the DBPR. Now, I believe now with the online course, they do not collect them still. I don't believe they collect them when you do this online, and instead you're actually given specific instructions with an email when you're scheduling the online state exam, that there's a certain email. Now, if there is a place you could attach that on your application, that probably will work as well. Because ultimately, you just need to make sure the DBPR has your certificate, which again, if you're taking the in-person one, there shouldn't be anything extra it is you need to do. But if you are taking the online state exam, there should be instructions. And this is directly from the DBPR. I actually was on the phone with the head of the education department just a week or two ago asking for specific clarity on this. And on your actual instructions for your online state exam, it actually has the email right in there of where they would like that certificate sent to. So that is the most up-to-date information I have from the DBPR on what they require with that. Like I said, if you're taking the in-person state exam, you shouldn't have to worry about that. But if you're doing the online state exam, that's where you want to make sure they get a copy of that certificate. Otherwise, that could cause issues with getting your license issued, or maybe it does get issued, but then they end up taking it temporarily revoking it until they get things figured out here. So you don't have to deal with any of that. You don't want any of that delays going in. So it should be, again, right when you're going to schedule your state exam, you should have that email there for setting that up. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. I hope this information has helped you along this process. And again, if there's any further details, if there's any additional information that we could provide to help you better understand maybe which course platform is going to be the best fit for you. Maybe you're trying to pass your exam. Maybe you've already completed this course, but you need some extra help in passing your exam. Maybe you already have your real estate license and you want to register for this post-licensing course. Give us a call. Our phone number is 813-333-2676. We have advisors standing by. Again, these people have at least a sales associate license, if not an instructor license or a broker license. So at one point, they were in exactly the shoes that you were in, trying to pass their exam, signing up for the course initially, going through the application process, trying to get their first deal, trying to get their first closing, trying to figure out, what do I do with my real estate license? What brokerage do I join? Whatever information, whatever questions it is that we could help you with, give us a call, 813-333-2676. You could also find a lot of great information on our website, tampaschool.com. That's tampaschool.com. And make sure you're subscribed. Wherever it is that you're tuning in, if you're on our website, make sure you drop your email in so you get notifications whenever it is that we have new content to help you better understand real estate and grow your real estate empire. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you hit that little bell icon. Same thing for YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button if you've liked today's topic and you want to see us do more videos just like this about getting through this process, about how to expedite the steps to start your real estate career. I want to thank everyone again for tuning in. We'll be back on this Friday for State of Real Estate. Stick with us. My name is John Carismo. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll be back Friday.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam. Completed your post-licensing education yet? Look, I know you're probably thinking, hey, it's not my renewal deadline, I don't need to do post-licensing yet, but look, here's why you want to do post-licensing as soon as you've got your real estate license, as soon as you're able to take post-licensing. It's not just another course about arbitrary laws that you're never going to use again. It's about real-world, usable topics that'll help you grow your real estate business, to help you take it to the next level. Look, let me ask you this one question. If this course helps you close just one deal, if you get one extra deal from post-licensing, is it worth the investment? I'd say it is. We get paid pretty well, so one deal means a lot of money. Check out postflorida.com. That's postflorida.com for the full details about post-licensing.
Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're gonna love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.